Hello everyone, welcome back to our Moneyball series with Barnsley. So today's episode is going to be our transfer special as it was before. I'm not going to show you all the steps again. I've just done it off camera actually to save a bit of time in the episode. Not time in the episode, but instead of just you watching me go through the stats, I mean, what I could maybe, can I show this to you now? I don't think you can't see me. I've just had some issues trying to get this set up, but at least you can see this for now. So just wanted to show you what we're actually doing in terms of what the stats are. For those of you that are playing along at home and you want to see what we're at 6 seasons in, going to season 7, the stats we're buying into. And also you can see that I'm not cheating. So I'm not like saying I'm not doing off camera. Actually, I'm doing it. So as you can see, we've taken the top 3 teams. That was Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. Not always in the same order, but that is their 3 players. We've got Mbappe at Chelsea, Salah's Liverpool, and Max Gomez at Arsenal. So we've taken those 3. So like I said before, it's not even those numbers. It's this number right here. This one's we're looking at. Those are the stats we're going to buy for striker. Same here for the winger. We're going to be buying those. I can ignore the value. That's because it says MI after the number there. You can change that in a second if I wanted to. That's there for wingers. If you wanted to take a screenshot of that. Central midfielders. Again, if you want to take a screenshot of that, feel free. CDM. Bring back. And lastly, centre back. And we're back. Everything should be good. I think everything's good for the recording. Okay, so we can just carry on now as we were a second ago. So you can see the stats that we're going to be buying into. Let's minimise that for me so I can now see my own spreadsheet. There we go. And we're going to probably ignore the striker for now because we've already got the striker from last year that we wanted. So that's the last one we'll come back to. We're going to start with winger. We'll start with a wide player, see what we can get here. So dribbles per night of 2, chances created per night is 0.26. That one's there, yes. That one we don't really need because it doesn't really matter because the scale is too high. Crosses completed per 90, 51%. So cross completion is 26. Chances created per 90 is 0.51, but again, we can't show that. Assists per 90 is 0.20, although I mean that can come down in a second. XG is 12. Not going to worry about that and that. Shot on target percentage, 51%. Area challenges per 90 is at 8.5. Let's go to 8. Headers 1, 58%. Don't care about the rest here. Then we're going to whack on maximum age 27. And appearances minimum of 15. That gives us nobody. The first thing I'm going to drop is XG, I think. And because that's like a little bit relative to the team. And I think per 90 we could drop that down as well to like 4. Headers 1, 154. Let's see if that gets us anybody early doors. Let's take away the headers completely down to like that. Headers 1, shot ratio, XG can go down as well. Okay, potential here. Brian Caro. Dribbles per night is 2.75. We need 2.04. So he's head on that. Cross completion 26. We need 26 out of 21. We need for chances created per 90. We're looking at 0.51. He's got less on that. But not too bad because he's played for a pretty bad team. At least for Elche, I believe. XG, low again, plays for a bad team. What's he really low? I don't know. So he wasn't showing up for ages on the other ones we were looking at. I'm about to basically lower everything down. You go back and use it as a reference point to weigh out the tables. So he looks alright, you know. Like, not for that. We'll negotiate with them and see what we can get him down to, but he looks alright. The one here, Ivan Lima. He's got pretty decent dribbles per 90. Cross completion is good. Chance to create per 90 is very good. Cricket chances is amazing. XG is pretty good. He's got good everywhere. He played for the first team of Atletico Madrid as well. So, how much did they let him go for? Oh, they let him go for cheap as well. That could be a really good sign-in. We'll try and go in for him. That seems like that could be 2 good players there. This is interesting. Georgi Kowaladze. Now, I'm interested in him because he's a little younger, but his dribbles per night isn't amazing. His cross completion's decent enough. He's okay at creating chances. But what's pretty good is, considering he doesn't seem to play in a very good team, his XG is fairly high, but he's also really, really good in the air. So if he's really good at like being able to head at the far post and stuff, that will make up a little bit for where he's been bad elsewhere. So we'll have a look at him as like a potential net positive as a move on the wing areas. Player Allison, dribbles per 90 is a little low. Cross completion is a little bit lower. Chances created per 90 is much, much higher. Pick up chances, not worried about that. XG is pretty close. It's one of the better ones we've seen. Shot on target is good in the air. He's also 6'5". So, not really sure what's going on here. But he's definitely worth a scout. and I think we're definitely going to be moving in on him. 8.5 million all up front. I think that's got to be looked at as an option. Actually, managed to find quite a few players in that one, which is quite interesting. So we'll see how that goes going forward in different positions and stuff. But yeah, I'm quite hopeful with that. Next one is to move on to central fielders. So we're looking for like a number 10 and then a box-to-box at the same time. Passes 2.92, so that's fine. Dribbles per 90 0.8, so that's fine. Chances created per 90 0.59, that needs to go off. Clear cut chances. Average is 22, that's crazy. Put that on to start off with. So Robert Wagner's come up yet again this season. He's already on our shortlist, so it's pretty worth a look at a bit closer this year. Okay, Noah Felipe, he looks pretty good. The only thing he's got that's low is dribbles per 90. Everything else is really good across the board. It could almost be like our box-to-box or our pivot player, depending on how good he really is defensive, which we don't really know. So other big clubs are in for him as well, which is quite interesting. So we can definitely have a look at him. Okay, this guy, Matthias, I don't know Gonzalez, how do you pronounce his name? I'm not sure whether he plays on the wing or as a 10, but his key pass is very high, his dribbles per 90 is very high, and so is everything else. So I think he's more like a winger, but I'm going to bring him into players. I'm going to bring him into play as our number 10, and some of the clubs are interested in him as well. Yeah, he's going to be definitely on the list. Right, got some options there. Going to move on now to our pivot players and see how that goes. Moving on now to CDMs. You might notice a bit of a change. It's been a bit of time since I recorded the first half of this. I just needed to have some food and stuff. We need goal mistakes. We'll get rid of that. This is per 90.68. Tackles per game 1. Okay, that can go then. Tackle ratio 73. Key tackles, put 3 for now. Okay about that. Pass completion 92. Okay about that. Don't care about that. Challenges per 97. Giving us a few players here, surprisingly, right off the bat. A lot of these are actually centre backs and full backs, so it's quite hard to find the one you need. Okay, Diego Costa, not that one. He plays CDM and centre back. He looks pretty good across the board. His pass completion is very high. If it's that high, I'm going to assume he's actually a centre back, not a CDM. But we're going to look at him anyway. Closer in a second. Right, so we've got that Diego Costa, we've got that Philippe that we looked at as a central forward before. They both look like they could be good. They both look like they could be good pivots. So we'll have a look at there. Let's move on now to the fullbacks and hopefully get an option there. And here, this could be interesting because I think Vinagre and Soranola could both leave potentially, but only if we get someone who's better, you know. So let's see what we get. Okay, right back. Tackle ratio 86% is good in the air. Dribbles at the defence a lot. Calvin Ramsey, you just made the list. Pass completion is extremely high. Liverpool just had him in real life. He looked amazing, like stats wise there. We're getting it for a decent price as well. So yeah, that's going to almost definitely be happening. Calvin Ramsey at right back looks like he's me the one for us. Potential wonder kid based on stats here. So Nicolas Banguera plays in the Colombian first. That is top division though, right? I believe it is. Yeah, that is, I'm pretty sure. So it's the top division in Colombia. And he has 33% cross completion, which is really good. Very, very high, in fact. 13 starts, so it's not the most for a sample size, but it's not the least. Like, I don't know, as long as they've got at least 10 starts, because don't forget, loads of seasons, leagues rather, start at different points of the year. So you can never quite tell. That's why I put 20, because 20 includes subs, right? So if they've got 20 appearances, normally they should have started enough games in that. Some of them might have like 5 starts and 15 sub appearances. But that's like the sort of like anything less than 10 I won't look at generally, unless it's to do with where the season is, and I'll keep track of them. But that's enough for me. He's really good in the air and he can tackle. He does everything well. Normally one player has one they're really not good at. But he's pretty good across the board and dribble. So he could be a wonder kid. He's only 17. And they want, wow, I mean, 100 grand? No, I don't want to give them any percentage of the next sale. How about like, I don't know, 200 grand? I'll take that. Sweet, okay, well, see how that goes. Right about this is, by the way. Last player I managed to look at was Bettino at Santos. He came up on our list. He looks pretty good as well. He's made 10 starts, because they've only just started their season. And he's got 28% on his cross completion. Dribbles per night is quite low. That could be down to the way that I'm guessing his role is selected quite low because Tobias has got more dribbles per 90. So it's probably that he's like wing back, attack, full back support, something like that. Is what I'm guessing. But he's got that. He's good in the air and he can tackle. Like he's got all the key things that we need. He's got 2 key tackles already at the start of the season, which is pretty good. He challenges a lot in the air as well. So I'm quite happy with him overall there. Spur 90 is the same as... In fact, he's got more assists than Tobias, and Tobias is the more attacking one out of the two. So he's probably quite good. He's got everything. So yeah, Batinho is the one. We want the centre-backs now. Let's look at centre-backs. Mirko Eichmeyer, again, has appeared. Both footed centre-back at Leverkusen. I think he's got to be looked at this year. It'll cost a lot of money, but I think he's the one. Scalvini I looked at a second ago when I was looking at CDMs. He came up, so he looks really good for centre-back. And... Like, how many starts? He only got 9 starts, though, at Eichmeyer. That's something that puts me off, because he wasn't first choice. Nelson Furtado, Nelly Furtado, right here. We've got pretty good header-one ratio, tackle ratio is good. Hasn't started that many games, only 10 starts. However, he's only 20 years old. He's a full international. And he was a starter last season, though. So, I think Nelly Furtado is going to have to be at the very least on the list here. Morato's come up again. Now, Morato is the Benfica one, but he's been sold back to Brazil. And he's been absolutely tearing up there, but they still want loads of money for him. So I'm going to shortlist him when he gets back from his injury a little more. We might look at him again, but he's centre-back. I basically just gone through. There's a load of young ones that I found that had good stats that we've sort of looked at. There's still options to sign. This lad from Celtic, he's been harming the stats every single year, so he's somebody to look at. I mean, Andrew from Norwich has come up again, but he's going to cost way too much money. Cost benefit doesn't really fit. Morato, again, it keeps coming up, so he's going to be one to look at. There's quite a few there. I'm not sure which ones exactly, but yeah, there's quite a few options. I really wanted some guaranteed starters to come and improve our back line, because I think that's what we need, but unfortunately, that's not really what we can find. We can only find players with potential, and I have to go make sure and hope that I get lucky and get the right one. So I'm just going to scout all the players now. Okay, so I'm going to click through here, do some negotiations, and we'll come back later in June. We'll see how we get on with these negotiations. Okay, welcome back already. So, we've made quite a few transfers so far. We've managed to bring in... Well, let's go back to the start. So we had John Lennon, obviously, which you saw. They managed to sign Manuel Felipe, who was that Portuguese central fielder. What was good is you can only sign so many under 21 players per transfer window, right? And he's already 21, so he didn't count. He comes in as our box-to-box midfielder. Could be a starter, could be the backup, not too sure yet, depending on what happens in other transfers. Cav Ramsey comes as right back, as we said. That's a good sign, I think, for us. Alisson, our 6-for-6 winger, we did manage to get a lot of clubs came in for him late on, so his wages is a lot bigger than I wanted to originally, but hopefully he's still good. I mean, could he be a striker as well? I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be for us. I wanted to bring him as a winger, but they've not mentioned his pace at all, so I'm not entirely sure where he's going to go, but he's brought in anyway. And then Ivan Lima from Atletico Madrid. I mean, he should be good. They don't say he's fast at all, so that's slightly concerning, but 11.5 million for him. Robert Wagner comes as another box-to-box option. I think it'll be box-to-box, not number 10, but he should be pretty good as well. It probably means that Brennan Johnson could be a 10. It depends whether if we want to use Felipe as a CDM, as our pivot player instead. Taylor Howard Bellis comes in. We need more homegrown players if we're going to sell Sorino, which we did. So he comes in to be our number 4 centre-back, and we're going to sell Boller as well. And then Georgie Kobaladze comes in as a winger. Again, not too sure how good he's going to be. They do think he's at least quick, though. That gives us a chance of a bit of pace on the wings. And that is it. You're up to date. We've sold a lot of players as well. Brugger, Kenny, Torres... Nola, Viviani, Brugger, Joaquin Go, Edward Chilu, Villa, Sangari, and still to go is Boller. And Marcus Leonardo has also already been sold for a lot of money, which hasn't gone through yet, and Wesley's one hasn't quite been confirmed, but that is pretty much it so far. I'm going to sell Sandri as well, purely because we've already got so many central midfielders coming in. I don't think we need him. I don't think we're going to need him at all. We've got that other Felipe, the left-footed one's ready set to come in as well. So I want to basically make sure that he comes in first, then Sandri can definitely leave. Andrea Finney comes in at centre-back. Now, this is a huge signing. I saw him, his stats were immense. He's only, 19 years old. He's a new gen. He looks like he could be world-class. And he's had one full season at Atalanta, had really good stats. He's going to come in for 22.5 million, all up front, no kickbacks or anything. We've got a lot of bank balance to play with, so that's a great signing for us there. What a transfer. Mario Felipe comes in. That's a great signing. I mean, I wasn't too sure initially what I was going to bring him as. He could be a pivot, he could be a box-to-box, or he could be our 10. So he does do a lot of things. I think originally we were going to bring him as a pivot player, but he could do all sorts for us. That really opens up what we can do with the team. And Sandra can now definitely leave. And Jan Boller at the same time. Sweet. Just asked for the board to upgrade the training facility, and they've done that as well, which is great. I don't believe it. So Diego Costa, He was great. He got all the stats. He was quick. He was going to be our perfect number 3 centre back. And he's on the Saint Etienne in France. He's 14th. Who's he on? We offered him 80 grand a week. Why has he signed for them? That's frustrating. That's really disappointing. So Diego Costa doesn't come in. He's 27. He goes to the shortlist. That means I still need number 3 centre back still to come in. Okay, welcome back. So we have Bettino who's coming as a left back. Now, he scored really high on our stats for a left back. The one concern as we've got him in is it doesn't mention his pace at all, which means he's probably not that quick. And also, the scouts think, or the coaches think he's operating at championship level. So, I mean, he could be slightly raw to come in and be, a top level left back. But he comes in. Tyreek Mitchell I then sold because we managed to get Tyreek Mitchell 2 million up front and the rest is in installments. We're trying to eat back at our transfer deficit, which is almost pretty much gone anyway, but I just wanted to keep adding to it. So Bettino was bought in for 11 million, 2005, all up front. Tyreek Mitchell was sold for 13, but most of it in installments. So the finance is down to red, but we've got a lot more, well, not a lot more money coming and going out, but I think that we should be making profits a lot easier from now on. Because with the conference, it might be slightly more difficult at the start, but I think generally we're in a much better place financially than we were, because all the players we bought have been up front and without any kickbacks, most of them. So also Andrew Omabam Idele, I pronounce that. He comes in, he's homegrown. That's the important thing here. So we've run out of homegrown players in the squad. So there was a few centre-backs I could buy, and they all were going to cost me between 17 and 25. Like Morata, the Brazilian centre-back in Brazil from Benfica, he was going to cost us 45 million. I just thought Andrew scored stats consistently. He's been on the list for 2 or 3 years. He's been appearing in the list. And he's homegrown, he's much more worth bringing in. And it also meant I get Bettino as a left back, who's a bit more of a gamble, but we'll see how that goes. And then also Kubo comes as Kubo will be the backup to Elias as our number 10. So he comes in. That then moves Brennan Johnson back to centre mid. So that means Brennan Johnson and Wagner be our 2 centre mids. And you've got the 2 Felipes as our pivot players. Now, I think they're both a bit too dynamic to be pivots, but we'll see. We'll see how they go. So I think the only thing we need now is we might need a pivot player. Like a proper defensive midfielder. So I'm going to look away for one now off camera going into the start of the season. And we'll come back and we'll either sign a pivot player or this will be the squad going into next season. So let's see how we do. I'll be back in a few minutes. Hopefully we've got somebody in mind. If not, this will be the squad. Right, there's been 2 outgoings. You have to stay with me here. You're going to have to just stay with me about why. I'll explain it in a second. First player out, Sebastiano Esposito. He goes for 26 million, 20 up front, a load of, I think, and 6 million in installments, then a percentage of the next sale. So a 20 million profit proper on him, but then loads of kickbacks for us on top of when he leaves Dortmund. They'll sell him for more than that eventually. And you're saying, Jack, why would you do that? He was a good striker. He fit in pretty well with the system. And he's only 25. And the answer is, I saw this player, Roman Fikij. Now, he plays for Slavia Prague in the Czech division. And every year, he had really good stats, except for goals. And last season, he only scored 7 at 22. So he's been their first choice striker for 2 seasons in a row. And he played even before that. I don't know how young he was there, but he must have been pretty young. And this season, that's just this season. So he's already started this season. 2 games, 2 goals. And he just keeps getting great stats. So I was like, the scouts loved him. And I just thought, I've got to pull the plug and try it, because we've already got John Lennon, who we know is going to be great, right? Or we think is going to be great. So I thought Moneyball would suggest that you sell Esposito for 26, bring in his replacement for 11.5. Now we've got 2 players who we think both could be as good as Esposito. Now I think worst case scenario, they're both as good as Esposito in terms of attributes. That's what they're going to end up being like. They're going to be that sort of level of player. How effective they are is going to vary on their underlying stats being 1. And loads of other stuff, right? Underlying attributes, rather. But I thought it was a really good signing. It also enables me to bring in Brian Caro. And Brian Caro is one of the wingers I looked at, and I couldn't bring in, so I didn't have enough money. So I now brought him in as well. So now we've got a spare winger. So we've now got our 4 wingers, 2 strikers, and we can use Alisson as the spare player. Now he's actually going to start, but in terms of the squad depth, I always have to have a spare player somewhere. So Alisson becomes a spare player in terms of he could be a striker or a winger for us. So that gives us more strength and depth. Brennan Johnson's gone to West Ham. Now, the reason why, they came in again off me £51 million, plus I think it was more than that, a 10% the next sale. We sold him for 7 million. I was just sort of £51 million now. I know he's homegrown. I know he's a really good player, but Moneyball suggests you have to take that. Now, the other reason is, although it sounds like a lot of money, I'm going to buy his replacement for about 49 million. So it's going to be basically £2 million profit for us. Now, this player here, I nearly bought him a second ago, Jason Howson. He's been in our stats about 3 years, and Sheffield United loaned him out to Huddersfield in the Championship when I think I first saw him, and then to Lugano in the Swiss Super League, and he came up again, and I nearly signed him early on in the window, and it was just too much money. But now we've sold Brennan Johnson. He's like a box-to-box player, but that can defend as well, because he's got apparently extremely good positioning and decisions. There you go. So I think he's going to be like a deep playmaker type player, but I think he could be a really, really good player. So I might just go for the money on him and see how good he gets and start him as our CDM, so our pivot player. And that would kick out right-footed Felipe, which is not Mario, it's the other one. That would then kick Manuel as our backup box-to-boxer, with then Robert Wagner being our first choice. So it gives everybody a nice little slot of where they're going to be in the squad, right? So I think it looks good, to be honest. If you can get rid of that switch to water flank rubbish, yeah, that'd be great. And so, yeah, you bang up today. That's what's happening right now. Players in, we've got a couple of youngsters coming in. Johnny House we're going to try and get, but we'll see how that goes. We're going to play the first game of the season this episode as well. We're going to play against Sheffield United. I'll just whack some people in there for captains, penalties. Rice is on one apparently. I'm just going on the list here. Right, let's let the team in for the season. The Messi is going to be in goal. Right back, who'd you start with? Let's get the Moneyball view up as well. Who'd you start with here? Salas for the start. We'll see how that goes. Wizamami next to Fini, our other little Fini over here. He can be our left-sided centre-back. First choice left-back is going to be Vinagre. Left-sided pivot player. I think it's going to have to be Mario Felipe for now. And then box-to-box of Wagner. With then... this could be anything here. There's a lot of our wide players have got traits that I don't like. I don't want him to run the ball through the centre, really. I think Allison... what do I do with Allison? I go Allison on the right. The 10's going to be Eli. On the left, do you go Lima? Babaladze looks good, so does Carrot. It's hard to choose between these. Give me between these two, I think, to start on the left. I'm going to go Carrot. I think just to get those level of stats and that average rating for a team that finished mid-table, I think it's really good, or below mid-table. So I'm going to go with Caro. Just chance it. I think John Lennon starts. He goes on the bench. Then Lima, Babaladze, Felipe. Oh, no, not Felipe. Kubo. Rice definitely goes on the bench. The first team will also bring in that other pivot player. Maybe they go in as a starting pivot player, and then Felipe goes as a backup to Wagner. We'll see. But that's been the team for now anyway. Let's get into the first game and see how we get on. Come on, Barnsley. As the manager says, for a reason. Come on. Here we go then. We don't want that one. We want match stats back there. Early highlight, Vinagre throws it into Eli. Eli into Caro. Caro back to Vinagre, up to far post. Allison, 6'5". Allison, there he is. Come on, it's 1-0 to Barnsley. Here we go. All 6'5" of him at the back post. City scores, make it 1-0. There we go, it's 1-0. It's thrown into Eli. Eli into Caro. Nice little build-up play there. Vinagre whips it in, and that might be an effective little tactic for us this season. Vinagre the corner. Whips it headed away. Wagner's going to get to that just. Plays into Ami. Ami to Finney. Finney into Felipe. We've had to change around the team a lot this year, which I'm quite happy about. It's quite aggressive, the transfer we've made and the change. That's Moneyball, though, right? That's what we said. Allison makes it 2. Allison's on a hat-trick already. What a goal. Vinagre's got 2 assists already. Come on. And that was open play. Free kick. Pickford clears it, goes into Caro. Caro tries to play Eli in early, doesn't quite get there. We get some pressure on the early doors here, though. I think... It's Kalechi to Sandra Budge. A bit all over the place to the right-hand side temporarily. They're going to get through, though. De La Cruz scores 2-1. Absolutely battered this team here, by the way. They don't deserve to have scored their goal at all. We deserve to be further ahead, really. Look at the match stats there. But it is only 1-0. 2-1, going to half-time. We'll say, happy so far against our rivals, carry on. I'm hoping John Lennon starts to play well because we've sold Esposito now, gambling on him and the other striker to do well. So that's where the gamble comes in. Oh, they're in. Ami's been beaten in the air as well. I don't believe it. Oh, what a block that is. It's still gone in, though. I don't believe what we're seeing. John Lennon off, new striker on. Come on. Salah has to put on Kevin Ramsey as well. Have a goal kick in. Meslier plays out to Finney, travels with it. Plays across to Meslier, pings out to Kevin Ramsey, who's just come on the pitch. Kevin Ramsey travels with it. into no man's land a little bit. Tries to play Roman in early. Doesn't quite get there. Oh, they've got to surely clear this. Oh, they played out against us there. I don't believe it. Yes, Finney, love that. Eli into Roman. Felipe goes back to Finney. He's got a few options there. He's going to go back to the right side. That's fine. Ami, Wagner this way. Oh, he had the chance to play that. Oh, back to the keeper. Kevin Ramsey. Yeah, I thought he'd hit Ramsey there. Ramsey controls it, travels with it. He's going to have to whip this in. He's got Roman if he wants him. There he is. Roman! Come on! The new signing scores 3-2. I'd take Eli off and put a little Kubo on it as a 10 as well. And they get their ball to Sheffield United. I've gone to positive with time Mason up. Hopefully we can still stay out the game. I think it's a free kick, just. It is a free kick, but it's still in dangerous area, though. De La Cruz with it. Crosses it, far post, headed away. Can we get pressure on him quickly? Don't let him shoot. Cross back in, headed, and it's just wide. Wow, it was close. A long goal kick. We're nowhere near this. Oh, I don't believe what I'm seeing. Surely not. I hope he's offside. I really hope he's offside. I'm just going to try not to speak too much, because if I do, I'm going to say some bad words. I can't put those on YouTube, so... I mean, going forwards, team obviously looks very good defensively. It was a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the sport. Like, I mean, some of the fact that they had how many shots on goal, you know, the XG was shocking. The amount of shots was shocking. Like, the XG, that shouldn't be that fucking high. Oh, that's just ridiculous. You mean, I'm absolutely raging with that. I'm not going to lie to you. There's no way they should have scored 3 goals in that game. At all. Instantly going to make that change at right back. I mean, I just despair. I just despair at this team at times. And to see out the game, like, for a while I was just doing positive, then I was doing positive, did my playmaker defend. I've just done loads of different things. None of it works, obviously, so I don't know what to do there either. Like, you want to try and get 2 players to press the back line so they can't just play out and get, you know, they're brilliant attacks against you, but also you can't do that and then not have them come and be a second player in or a third player midfield rather. So I don't know what to do defensively with this tactic. Well, with any tactic really, but in particular this one, it started at the back end of last year. I was starting to figure out or struggle with what to do with it. So yeah. Anyway, that is going to do the episode. That has been a lot of transfers, a lot of stuff. There's a game for you to see at the end, and yeah, I'm just devastated about that. Like, just a nice win, first game of the season. If it was erratic, a nice win, but to draw against them, let's not look at the results. Anyway, next episode, before I get too angry, I don't know what to come back for. I mean, there's going to be a transfer to be concluded. I reckon we'll come back for the first European game, whenever that is in the group stage, and we'll come back for that in the Premier League game, and we'll see how we've got onto that point and see how the stuff is progressing. I don't know exactly where it's going to be. It's going to be around here, this sort of area somewhere. So we'll come back for that. But let's conclude the episode. Thank you very much to all of you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.